Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander. I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Now, today, our guest is Psychic Kim Thalken. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And I have my co-host, Kelly Walters. Are you there, Kelly? Kelly, are you there? Kelly, are you there?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. I must have clicked something, or you might have clicked something. I was just introducing you. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, I didn't push anything. That's kind of strange, but thank you.
I don't know. But anyway, you're here. I was just telling, yeah. And now, our guest today, Kim, it says here that you left the corporate world. And that's something that we've heard of before, where people just decide to leave the corporate world. We've had lots of people on who were in the, spiritual realm, and they say, I used to work as this, and it was like, I had one job who was, it was a trader or something. I think that's what she was or something. I've really forgotten who it was. It was and they take on these jobs. It's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, why would you quit a job like that to do something like this? I mean, I was just curious, about why somebody would do that, and then just when you don't really have to, when you probably could, why would you leave that sort of job to do something like this?
Well, that's a good question because it is a drastic change. It's a life-changing decision. But usually you do something like this because you're feeling a calling inside to do that. So for me, I spent 15 years in the corporate world. I went to graduate school, etc., because that's what I thought my life was going to be, climbing up the corporate ladder. And there were events that had come into play in my life that slowly led me down this path. It wasn't like an overnight thing. It was a gradual process. Then I started getting into meditation, and in meditation, I was in transition at this time, as I'd had my daughter, and I was staying home.
You there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. The audio must have shined out there for a second. You had your daughter and...
Oh, okay. So I had my daughter, and I was thinking of going back to the corporate world. I was interviewing.
I wonder if the storm is interfering.
That might be it. I mean, we do... could that be it? Are you there, ma'am?
I'm here.
Huh. Yeah, it's probably the storm.
Okay, so your daughter, you're thinking about going back to the corporate world or something? Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yes, I was looking at going back into the corporate.
Okay.
Guidance. I was receiving guidance that, there's a real opportunity for you to go down this path, the path that I'm on now, instead. And so that's kind of how it unfolded. So I kind of had 2 feet and 1 foot in each world. And then I started leaning more and more towards this path because the doors in the corporate world were closing on me in places where they should have opened. So really, I wasn't being given a choice anymore. Those doors were closing because I was supposed to be going down this path to fulfill my life's purpose.
I got you. I mean, I'm sorry about if there's any technical problems. It's we are. I think that what I will say, in my opinion, is that we always go with our calling, it seems. And Kelly feels like, I think she told me that she's always felt sort of called, if that makes sense. Isn't that right, Kelly, when you talk about doing this?
Yeah, and it seems like everything that I was trying to do to, monetary wise, maybe my heart wasn't 100% into it, but I knew that, you got to make a living, want to be independent. It just never really quite worked out. There was no continuity in it, or if there was, it became so mundane that it just kind of grated on me. Like, I needed something that had more meaning to it. And, I was working in retail for 8.5 years, and then I was working in banking. And to me, it just seemed really counter to my own values. Like, why would I want to push a credit card on somebody and help them get into debt? Why would I want to, incur fees on somebody's account? Why would, this money stuff really started, not making sense to me, why there's so much importance on it, material things, and, having something to show for something. Like, if it's functional and you love it, that's one thing, but if you're trying to keep up and show it off and all that, that really has a hollow ring to it. And it really wasn't me. And so, keeping up with the latest trends is interesting only if it's helping you express your individuality, and you can do so. And, but if you don't really want to be doing that because you don't see the point in joining the masses that way, then they're really, it takes the fun out of it. So, I was noticing that shift, that I was not really quite like everybody else in the way that I thought about things. Education's important. I'm not going to say it's not, but, it's just, I felt like the calling was taking me in a different direction, that I didn't understand what it was yet. And I didn't understand why it was different yet. And, it was kind of like the show was this huge door that opened, and I didn't know that it was going to be. But it was like a catalyst that launched all these new things. And, meeting every guest, it's like a new experience to learn. It's like so many people that are attracted to the show are on a spiritual level that we can all learn from each other. And, that's really exciting to me. That really helps with purpose and healing and, just elevating each other and encouraging. And that's where I want to be. I don't, care about all this, frivolous stuff and all that we're all brought up to be, you got to reach these goals by this age. You got to do this. You got to do that. Well, that's great. And that might work for most people. And, that might be fulfilling for some. But when I hear about people that are working in a job they absolutely hate, I don't want to be that person. And probably most people don't either. But, at least when I'm working on something, I like to try to see different ways of looking at it, or try to improve it, or, something like that, instead of just going in, doing a mundane job, getting out. Every day is the same. I don't think I can do that. What are some of the ways that you found that when you left the corporate world, and you started to transform, what were some of the ways that you changed on the way that you saw the world and the way that you interacted with people and the kind of people that you started to hang out with? What differences did you start to notice?
Well, whenever you're going down this path, which is, when you make a life change like that, it's always because it's being driven by the soul. So you're starting to live your life more in alignment, more and more and more in alignment with the soul. So this is my life. This is my life's purpose. This is what brings me joy. This is what I'm passionate about. So earlier you had talked about your job before being mundane. When you're doing something that you're passionate about, that brings you joy, that is in alignment with your soul, it's not mundane. And every day you're motivated, you're excited, you're enthusiastic about what it is you're doing. It brings you complete joy and fulfillment. And so everything about your life changes. I mean, this, it's a quote unquote job. It's what I do for work, and it's what brings in an income. But it's a path of self-discovery. This work is a path of self-discovery. So you're learning more and more and more about who it is you really are. And when you do that and you're connecting to that purest place within you, then everything about your life changes. Everything about your life changes. And that's not something that most people are comfortable with. The human side of us doesn't respond well to change. We don't seek it out. We don't usually embrace it with open arms. But that's really what this journey is. And when you're bringing all of the different aspects of your life into alignment with your soul, then that's going to require change of possibly a change of job if that's not in alignment, change in relationships. So any place that your relationships are, not conscious or unconscious, those relationships might fall by the wayside. The activities you choose to participate in or not participate in anymore will change. The way you interact with people, the way you understand life, how it is you see yourself in life, all of these things evolve and shift as we do as individuals. So my life today is nothing to what it used to be. It's very, very different in all ways, but in all the most beautiful of ways. When we're going through change, it's not always the easiest thing to do because we put up a lot of resistance to it, which creates struggle in that process. But that's also what this journey is about, too, is learning to move with the flow of life and to trust the flow of life. And so when you do that, you're, over time, you that resistance goes away and you start to move with the flow of life. And then you're moving through life with greater ease. So that is a big learning process for the human side of us, too. But it's ultimately, the change, the shifts, bringing everything into alignment with truth is ultimately what's going to bring in the greatest amount of joy and inner peace, which is ultimately what it is we all want. It's just the path to getting there can be difficult because of the change that's required.
That makes perfect sense, and that's where I'm at right now, is I'm in the middle of that change, and things that were so ingrained and important to me, activities and things like that, I don't need those anymore. They don't really have that deep meaning for me. I've moved beyond it. And, I used to be caught up in petty dramas that were like the whole world at the time. I mean, they weren't petty at the time. They were very important, and I was in a lot of upheaval battling myself because I was afraid of change. I hated change. I dug my heels in. By golly, I'm not going to change. And, then there's times where I got knocked on my rear end and had to. But it just, instead of fighting everything, it's kind of nice to be able to go with the flow. And I've just recently started to be able to do that. And it's like not having to swim upstream anymore. It's, like, wow.
It's funny because I was going to say something like she's helped out with the creativity aspect of it. I told her that, I had an idea for a Valentine's Day show where we do the show where you're going to laugh at this, Kim, because, it's sort of like you might think, oh, maybe my husband could do this. But really what we thought about doing is we thought about having one where on Valentine's Day where basically we do the show with us with Kelly talking while her fiance is rubbing her feet and playing with her hair. and I thought, maybe Kim, you could do it and then have your husband rub your neck or something. I don't know. What do you think of that?
Pampering Day.
Hey, that sounds good to me. I don't see why we need to wait for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day every day.
Right, there you go.
Now, is your husband psychic too?
I mean, over time what happens is what you notice when you're in a relationship with someone and you're down this quote unquote spiritual path, right? Their way of being starts to evolve and shift too. So so when I came into this awareness, I mean, my parents now are pretty intuitive. My parents are.
Oh, wow.
My husband is more and more. But yeah, so that's kind of an interesting. That's the beauty of being on this path. When you start to raise your consciousness, then the people that you are in close relationship with have the opportunity to do the same if they choose to. If they choose to. And so, yeah, I've noticed definite shifts in, my relationship. My parents, they're both very psychic now.
Wow.
And my husband more and more. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing to witness. And that's why it's so important to focus on, the path it is that we're on, and living from the highest aspect within us, because when we do that, that's our contribution to humanity, because everybody around us benefits from that too.
That makes sense. Yeah. I've noticed myself that when I'm not concentrating on, so-and-so did this and I feel upset about that, when I'm not thinking about those things and I'm just, going about trying to, include the people that want to be included and, things like that, that my mind doesn't have time to think about, so-and-so did this and it made me feel that way and all that. Instead of reacting more, I'm observing.
Well, that's the beauty of this path too, is that we start to our value system changes, just as you mentioned earlier. Everything about the way we. Go ahead.
Not to interrupt, but we have a caller.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's see here. Caller, you're on the air.
Oh, hello. I just logged on.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a little chilly. I just got back from the gym though, so all is good.
Great.
Okay.
How can we help
did you have
tonight?
a question? Or?
Well, sure. I might as well ask you a question. I'm supposed to start a new job, but I think because of the government shutdown, the fingerprints have been on hold. So I'm still at the job, but I'm not very happy. It's kind of like very toxic now. So do you think that this job's going to come through, or how long? Was going to be, like months down the road, or soon?
So Kelly, are you doing this reading, or are we doing this together? I'm not sure. I know what the process is here.
Do you feel comfortable taking this one?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I'm sorry, caller. What's your first name?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Andrea, and I live in Virginia.
Andrea from Virginia. I'm in Virginia.
Oh, yeah, where?
Oh, wow.
I'm in Richmond.
Oh,
where are
okay.
you at?
I'm over here in Northern Virginia.
Okay, that's right. I guess if you're waiting on a government job here. So your question is you're waiting on a government. You've applied for a government job. You're supposed to be at this point. You're waiting to see if you're going to get this job. Is that what your question is?
No,
Or what's going to happen?
I have the job offer. I have the offer, and I've done the fingerprints already. I'm just waiting, and then I guess it's been on hold. I guess because of the shutdown, certain government, entities are not working. So I'm assuming that's why it's on hold. But, Trump's another story for another day. So.
Well, Andrea, what's your question for me?
So do you think that I'm going to have to? Do you think the job's still going to come through, or anytime soon, or it's going to be months down the road whenever the government starts back? Back
you know
open
what? I do think that position will come through for you, but I do think that there is going to be, a delay because of the shutdown or what's kind of going on in the government right now. And I just think the number 2, and 2 can mean 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. I feel like within 2 months you should have a feel for next steps and what's going on. Now, the thing that might be difficult in this process is the communication. Communication may not be, what you want it to be, like, keeping you in the loop,
Yeah, it's not. They're not.
That might not. Okay, yeah, because I'm feeling like the communication's not really there. But I do feel like the position is, still open to you, but there's going to be delays, and the communication may not be there to keep you in the loop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and it's been very difficult. And the guy who I guess works for the security department, I keep asking about the fingerprints. He goes, "You will be notified." Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other guy who's supposed to work for us, because it's a contract job as well, he's kind of very evasive as well. I keep asking questions like, if I had a job and I was a contractor, would I not be getting paid either? And he never answers my question.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot internal communication is not there as well. A lot of folks not getting clear direction on how to respond to these kind of inquiries because they themselves aren't sure what's going on with them.
Right.
So you're going to have to kind of work your way through all of that.
Okay. Anytime I have a job, just my boss is big. I don't know what her problem is lately, but she yells at me all the time, and she says some nasty things and lies about me to her boss. I don't have any idea why, because I've done nothing to her, so I have no idea. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't see you without a job. It's just kind of muddling your way through, the murkiness of this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll have a different journey that I'm going to be taking hopefully in the next month or so anyway. So I guess the job won't be a matter, kind of like secondary. So.
Okay, well, even better. Good for you.
Yeah, I tried out for a TV show, so hopefully that's going to come through, and I won't have to worry about a job anymore.
Very good. Well, all the best to you. Sounds like you got some exciting options.
I do. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Goodbye. And we have another caller. 1 second here.
All right.
Caller, you on the air.
Hi, how you doing this evening?
Hi, good. How are you? What's your name?
Desmond, calling from Cleveland, Ohio.
Desmond calling from Cleveland, Ohio. All right, Desmond. How can we help you tonight?
Yes, I was wondering, what do you see as far as my finances or prosperity? Something.
Finances and prosperity. Okay. Let me see here. Let me check in with your guides because I feel like your guides have stuff that they would like to share here about what you're learning about. Okay. Well, your guides are saying that you are learning about how to spend more like wisely. Okay. And also to be grateful for what it is you do have. So are you feeling like your finances are at a low right now?
Yeah. I mean, I have plans to, like I was going to do cleaning people's apartments, but yeah, I do. I mean, they are right at low, but I guess that's trying to push me in the direction of starting my own business.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I feel like your guidance, what they're working with you on is changing your relationship with money. Because right now it feels like, one of the things that you're working on at the soul level is working through the unconscious program of lack, not feeling like you have enough. And that also stems with how it is you feel about yourself, not feeling like you are enough. Okay, so that's what's going on with you on a spiritual level, the soul level, kind of karmically, so to speak, some of the lessons it is that you are learning. And so to that point, you're going to go through these, periods where where you feel like you don't have enough. But hold on, what they're saying is that because you're learning how to be more like careful with your money, mindful, I shouldn't say careful, mindful of how you use money, where it is you choose to spend your money. Okay, so when you get a little bit better at that and focus on that aspect of your relationship with money, and what okay, here's what your guides would like to ask you. To think about the purpose that you want money to serve for you. The purpose that it serves. There's some refining there with how it is you understand that and how it is you're seeing that. So those are just some of the things it is that you're working on. Now, I feel like once you fine-tune that within yourself, then you will experience greater prosperity. But it's like really being grateful for everything it is that you have, really being mindful for how it is you choose to spend your money, where it is you choose to spend your money, on what it is you choose to spend your money on, and then you feel more prosperity will come into your experience. But there's things that you're clearing up on a karmic level as it relates to that, and also how it is you feel about yourself, seeing yourself as enough as well. Do you have any questions on that?
No, that's pretty straightforward. I kind of understand that, so I kind of get it.
Okay, so take what I'm saying to heart, start thinking about that, and start asking for support from your guidance, those that are in spirit that are helping support you and guiding you in this lifetime, because the only way that we pay attention to what it is we need to learn about a certain situation sometimes is for that to be taken away from us. So it's not that money is being taken away from you, but that's why you're experiencing this lull. It's meant to kind of pull your attention and focus in on those things. But there is a connection, too, between how it is not feeling like you have enough money, but then also not feeling like you are enough. So there is a connection there. Okay?
Oh, okay. So you mean like enough for me? Okay.
Yeah, not feeling like you are enough.
Oh, you mean for like another female? Like not enough, or?
In all ways, not enough.
Oh.
I'm not good enough.
Oh, okay.
I don't have enough. I'm not enough. I don't have enough to offer. Not understanding your value, those kinds of things.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep.
All right. You're welcome. You're welcome,
Okay.
Desmond. When you pay attention to these things and start shifting these things within you, then you will find more prosperity will come into your life.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And the next caller is from 484 area code.
Hello, Miss Christopher.
Hello.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Christopher.
How are you?
Hi, Christopher.
I'm all right. I've been listening to
Sure.
Yeah. I'm curious about something. I've been working on communicating with the dead, with ancestors wise. I've been trying a new way with it. I've been calling upon God. It seems like it's worked pretty well. Is there any other things I can do to make my connection even stronger?
So Christopher, sure. So I don't want to overstep here, Jonathan. I don't know if Kelly's doing some of these questions too, so just let me know.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So Christopher, so your question is you'd like to strengthen your connection with loved ones that have passed and your ancestors. Is that correct? And you've been working with God, and you'd like to know if there are other ways in which you can do that?
I would like to enhance it. I don't, if there's any other way I can do along with what I'm doing now.
Yeah. So, have you thought about taking workshops and classes to help it to assist you in this?
Oh no, I haven't.
Okay, so I want to recommend that because it's really helpful. You know, even mediumship for mediums, we take classes and workshops all the time to strengthen that connection, to practice, to learn new techniques. To be able to ask questions to, those around us who might have more experience, so we can come together and share experiences. And that's a very, very helpful way of expanding on your current, on your abilities. Now, and that is very, very helpful. In fact, like I said, a professional mediums, we take workshops all the time. I'm always in workshops with colleagues and so forth. And the beautiful thing about it is there's so many options for us. There's so many options for us these days. So you can meet. There are meetup groups all over the place that might have development circles. And so it's important. You can go on Facebook. There's mediumship development groups. There are, all kinds of workshops and things out there. Okay, so I want to encourage you to do some online research with that. Where do you live, Christopher?
Allentown, PA.
In Pennsylvania. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Listen, I would recommend Janet No Havoc up in New Jersey at the Journey Within.
Okay.
So Okay, so look, she's an excellent medium, and she's got mediums from all over the world that come and teach the Journey Within, which is not far from Pennsylvania, and she's got online classes. There's all kinds of online stuff that you can do too. So just start to research some of this, because strengthening your connection is takes a lot of practice. And the extent
I learned that.
Yes, it all comes with practice. It's like that, it's like a muscle that needs to be exercised. Okay, and so the more you practice, the stronger the connection is, and it helps. Whenever we're on this path, especially mediumship, it helps to be a part of community where we can ask questions, because there are an unlimited amount of unlimited experiences that can come with mediumship. Nothing fits into a box, and nothing ever unfolds the same way every single time. So it's learning to get comfortable with that too, and learning the different ways in which our loved ones do communicate with us, and learning what your particular strengths are in terms of communication. We've got the clairs. I don't know if you're familiar with the clairs, but there's clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. So everybody works differently, receives information differently. And so that, understanding how it is you receive information is going to be very important.
I suspect I'm clairaudient.
Okay, very good. I feel like clairaudience would be a strength of yours too. And then I also feel clairsentience is going to be pretty strong for you too. Feeling.
Yeah, I've had some really strong. I did ghost box and stuff like this, and I had Kelly listen to questions I've asked and stuff. It weirded us both out. It was like extremely intelligent.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, it was really class A.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Ghost Box, but it was interesting. I hadn't used it before.
Yeah.
No, I really haven't used any tools or technology to track to track that kind of thing. But I haven't. No, so I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, ITC is one of the most powerful tools you can use. I am not comfortable with Ouija boards because of the lack of control. But I heard of some people that were able to use this tool successfully. Me, I'm scared of it because I'm a Christian and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's part of this process is familiarizing yourself with energy and getting comfortable with energy, understanding what it means to work with energy. And you want to have good practices that, keep your experiences as that come from the best and the highest at all times, because there's different vibrations of energy, right? So there are higher vibrational energies, lower vibrational energies. And so people can sometimes get themselves into uncomfortable situations when they don't understand that, and they're dabbling.
I won't get into anything I don't feel right about. I stay clear of it.
Well, yeah. Even if you think you're staying clear, sometimes you can still experience lower vibrational energy. So that's why when you say you work with God, that's very, it's very good to keep that connection, strong, and that your intentions are pure. When your intentions are pure and you're coming from a pure place, that's when you have the highest experiences. But what I find is when people are dabbling in energies, they're curious, they're playing around, from a place of curiosity, that's when situations can unfold and worsen over time. You see? So you just want to be very mindful of that. You want to have good daily practices of keeping your own, having good energy hygiene. People don't realize that. But when you're working with energy, you have to have good energy hygiene yourself. So meditation, energy healing on yourself, perhaps, those kinds of things.
I'm worrying I have to do that before and after what I'm doing. And even sometimes during it, if I feel like something isn't right, to gain control, to use my practices to clean it up.
Yeah, very good. Well, that's part of the journey too, is realizing, recognizing that we are in control. That we are in control, that we're always in control, that nothing is greater than us in that way. And so sometimes we need to, I've had uncomfortable experiences with energy that was really, quite frankly, upsetting. But it was a part of my path to understand my own inner power and to, reinforce my own inner strength and my own, standing in sovereignty, and understanding my ability to do that nothing has control over me.
I've been attacked many times, but when I started to get into this in earnest in 2010, my night terrors stopped. I stopped having night terrors.
Well, working with spirit, Christopher, and for those listening, is quite honestly, is a beautiful, magnificent experience because you are exposed to divine love, the purity of the purest love there is, and so that in and of itself brings in a tremendous amount of joy. Okay, however, not everything is always peachy keen. So we have to.
I can attest to that. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But this is not, this is not about instilling fear in others or coming from a fearful place, but just recognizing that there are different levels of consciousness out there and energy out there, and so when you have the practices it is that we're talking about, then you'll bring in experiences that feel good. But sometimes those experiences that don't feel good, not sometimes, those experiences that don't feel good are always very purposeful with our own evolution. So it serves a purpose.
I'm worrying about teaching moments because they're usually a mistake that you or someone else in your circle has done, and it teaches you how to strengthen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always a learning experience if you get attacked.
Yeah.
And that has happened to me.
It is.
And that has happened to me. It's unpleasant.
It's very unpleasant. It's very unpleasant, especially, one of the things that was upsetting for me when I went through that was that what in the world is happening here? I worked so hard on my connection to God. All of these things I work, with the angels all the time. How is it? What's the point? If I'm working on strengthening my connection to God and to the angels, how in the world am I being subjected to this? How is that possible? But
I learned something too. You have to know your enemies too, as well.
Well, it's just for me, the what came from that experience for me was just to see my own inner power, to reinforce my own inner power, and for me to see that about myself. So you have to, to be able to experience a situation like that and from my own inner power, turn that situation around. That was what was important for me to understand. So there's always, depending on where we are in our path, there's going to be different things that we're learning at different times. We're going to bring forth experiences to help teach us what it is we need to learn. For me, that was what I needed to learn. But all of these experiences hold purpose and meaning. They don't just happen just to happen. There's purpose behind it.
That's why, if you notice, if you ask Kelly, there's certain questions I consider out of bounds. Like some of the callers call for money, asking about that. I won't do it.
Okay. Well, money is an energy too. And, a lot of people are going through a purification process on how it is they relate to money, how it is they understand money, understanding the purpose that money serves. The human side of us, and Kelly, you were talking to this earlier, we want the nice cars, the luxury this, the, whatever it is. The material stuff, right?
It enhances our life.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't feel comfortable asking about readings in regard to that. I just never felt comfortable. It's probably because I don't understand the energy behind it.
Yeah, and a lot of people are learning that. A lot of people are learning that, and that's exactly what Desmond, our last caller, is learning about. He's learning how to relate to money in a different way than how he has been. So, when we learn our lessons, it never comes from a comfortable place. Otherwise, we don't learn it.
That's
so
true.
That's why he was feeling a little bit of a lull there, and I feel like he's probably experienced maybe a little bit more and then a little lull. And then maybe he gets the money and then a lull again until he brings back into balance within himself that which is out of balance, which is, centers around some of the lack stuff that I was talking about.
Well, I need to find somebody who would help me learn about this energy locally.
Well, I think, not to interrupt, but I think that the money, how people say that the Bible says the money is the root of all evil. It's not money, it's the love of money. And sometimes that gets lost in the translation. Because money is an essential bargaining tool.
I'm not trying to jump in, but we do have a caller. Can we take a call?
I'm sorry about that. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay. Right.
Thank you, Christopher, for calling.
Have a good night. Bye.
Thanks.
Area code 425. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah. My name's Robin.
Robin. Okay, Robin. What's going on?
Yeah. I keep on thinking about the country New Zealand. And the thing is that I have a lot of family here, and I'm the only I'm the only child, and I keep on thinking about New Zealand, and I'm just wondering if I'm gonna end up moving to New Zealand or just taking a trip to New Zealand.
So, well, first of all, New Zealand is just a beautiful place in the world. For you, Robin, let's see why you're thinking about New Zealand. I don't feel like you are going to move there. If anything, you would visit there, but I don't feel you moving there. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Where do you live now?
I live in Falls City, Washington. It's by Redmond, Issaquah, and
Oh, okay.
Stuck on me.
So let me, you know, let me just connect into you to see what's drawing you over there. Freedom. That's the word that comes to my mind is freedom. Needing to feel a sense of freedom from, okay, I feel like you do you always feel obligated in your life? Like just so many things and people that you have to tend to and things that you have to do and requirements and people needing things from you. Are you feeling like that, Robin?
I have been talking about sometimes when I'm going to move out.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't catch all of what you said, but basically the word freedom is coming up, and I feel like you feel really tied down to like these obligations and responsibilities, and you feeling like you have to do certain things for certain people, and there are expectations, and that I feel like is weighing you down. But it's a mindset. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do sometimes.
Yeah, because it's a mindset. It isn't coming from a place of truth. It's coming from your feeling like you need to please other people and do for them. So when I connect with New Zealand, I feel like you're daydreaming about this place because it is an escape from what weighs you down where it is you are. It's like it offers you complete freedom. Going to a land and a place far away where like nobody can find you and require things of you. So that's the feeling that comes up within me when you talk about New Zealand. It represents complete freedom. Okay, and I feel like your soul would like for you to experience that, to experience what it feels like to be free in that way. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't see you moving there, but I feel like that's kind of the motivation that's spurring these thoughts and daydreaming about thinking about New Zealand a lot.
Okay. All right.
And also, okay, here's what it is too. New Zealand offers simplicity. Okay, that's what's coming up with me is that it offers a simplicity. Their way of being and way of life is much simpler than it is here in the U.S. And so that would be another thing that would appeal to you at the soul level is being experiencing simplicity in freedom.
All right.
A lot of beautiful spots there in New Zealand, natural nature, things like that. So anytime we connect with land that represents that or we're in nature, those kinds of places, it's going to restore wholeness inside. Okay? And reinstate feelings of well-being. And actually help you sort through your own thoughts and emotions, because I feel like your thoughts and emotions are a little jumbled up within you. And so it's actually even hard for you to make decisions or to know what it is you do want. And so I feel like this is just your soul talking to you. Bring in an experience to let you know that there are options out there of places that look like what it is and feel like what it is you're actually yearning for. Okay? So that's what comes up. That's what comes up for you around that.
Did he answer your question, sir?
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in, Robin. I'm glad that you made it to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah. Thanks.
The it's at every show it seems to get we learn more and more about how to handle things a little bit better, like having more callers and taking more callers and everything. So it seems like it's going good. What I love is Kelly's confidence seemed to improve. I got a subscription for IMDb, and when I got IMDb, she asked me. I won't say the names of the people because hopefully we'll interview them, but these are people that had it was like they were in television shows that I hadn't seen yet. And so I thought, oh boy, that she's actually trying to contact these people, and she's having a lot of fun with IMDb, aren't you, Kelly?
Oh yeah, thank you. It's been great. The show has helped a lot with confidence because I would have been too afraid to even call these agencies before.
I figured I'd let her do it because that she'd have a lot more fun with it.
Yeah, yeah, and I know like earlier we were even talking that especially the ones that you aren't so familiar with, but I know who they are. That I would be the one that would be leading our show on those days, and
yeah,
I'm pretty
excited.
Yeah, and I'd probably be asking most of the questions if you don't know who the person is. So, it just I am excited because I never saw myself being in this position, and I look at celebrities as regular people just doing a slightly different kind of job. They become well known for. They're just people like the rest of us, but yeah, it's exciting. The only thing I have any nervousness about now is doing things on video, but that's just getting over my own personal insecurities on how I look or mannerisms or, something like that. But I think after the first couple that we do, that it'll be old hat, not exactly old hat, but a lot less nerve-wracking to be able to see myself on a video and go, because I've seen myself on them now and I'm like, oh gosh, did I really look like that? Was I doing that? But now it's like, I don't know. I like this a lot better because I can be sitting here in my pajamas or something and nobody would know. But obviously for video, you got to look, you have to be, at your top. And, I'm a little touchy on my weight, so I'm thinking video adds 10 pounds I don't need right now. But all these silly thoughts that go through my head. But I'm just a person like anybody else. We all have our own insecurities.
Well, we have about a minute left. And thank you for coming on. It always does.
Wow, it does. Crazy.
I wanted to thank you coming on, Kim, and Kelly for helping us out as usual, and as a co-host and being a part of the show that's integrated part of the show. So I hope that you can possibly come back sometime. Would you be open to that?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch Jonathan. Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
Oh, I hope you can come back on the show sometime.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we still have to cover twin flames.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for coming on, and thanks for all the callers.
Yeah, thank you for all the callers. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
All right.
I'd love to have you on
Talk to
again.
you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.